Alright guys, just want to give you a quick overview of the geography of the United States. Now this is not going to cover everything. This is just the basics that we need to know. And we need to make sure that we can locate these places on a map because it's going to come up on your geography quiz and later on a test. Alright, so let's go over them real quick. We're going to start with the Atlantic Ocean because it's important to know the oceans too. So we got the Atlantic Ocean here on the eastern part of the United States and the Gulf of Mexico on the southern part. From there, we're going to go to the Appalachian Mountains. Now, the Appalachian Mountains are not nearly as high as some of the other mountain ranges that we have in the United States. I think the highest point is around 6,300 feet, somewhere around there. But the Appalachian Mountains are important for U.S. history because they provided the first barrier for Europeans that came to America. As they landed along the eastern coast, these mountain ranges stopped them from moving further east for quite some time. Crossing the Appalachian Mountains, we're going to get to what is called part of the interior plains. This is the flat lands that we find in the Midwest. This region is different from the Great Plains primarily because of the amount of water that's found here. We have a lot more rivers, lakes, we get more rainfall, so this region is distinct for that reason. From here we will see the Great Lakes. Now the Great Lakes are important because this contains roughly 20% of the world's surface water, fresh water. So this is, as we're going into the future and water possibly becomes more rare, this will be a very important strategic resource. It's also been important for U.S. history because it served as a means of transportation. The Great Lakes, through rivers and a series of canals that were built in the U.S., were able to connect to the Atlantic Ocean. So it was very important for transporting goods. Going from there, we will make our way to the Mississippi River. This is the largest and most important river in the United States. It's important primarily because it served as a way to transport goods. A lot of rivers along the middle and eastern part of the country drain to the Mississippi River. For example, the Ohio River, which borders Indiana in the south. So farmers were able to take goods from central Indiana, connect it through rivers to the Ohio River, from there to the Mississippi River, and then from there to the Atlantic Ocean, where they could send goods all over the world. Moving on from the Mississippi River, we have the Great Plains, an area of flat, primarily flat grasslands. Historically, this is where we saw millions of buffaloes living in the United States prior to the 19th century, when we get more Europeans moving out here and killing the buffalo. And we'll talk more about that when it comes time. Moving on from the Great Plains, we have the Rocky Mountains, the largest mountain range in the United States, where we also have much higher mountains than we had on the Appalachians. From the Rocky Mountains, we have the Great Basin, which covers much of this area here, Utah, Nevada, this region. The Great Basin is sort of a unique place. It is very, very arid, so very, very dry climate. Consists of a series of plateaus and valleys, but a very, very dry environment. Very unique, very beautiful rock formations, but it can also be a very harsh place. As the American settlers began to move west, this area would have been a very difficult area for them to cross. All right, going from the Great Basin, we have another set of mountain ranges. We have the Cascade Range in the northern half and the Sierra Nevada Range in the southern half. So these mountains are actually what causes the Great Basin to be so dry. So a lot of the rainfall coming off of the Pacific Ocean will hit these mountain ranges and fall along the coast, leaving this part of the country to be very, very dry. But in these coastal regions, which can stretch for several miles before you get to the mountains, it actually provides very, very good farmland along the coast. So this is just some of the basic geography of the United States. We also have Alaska and Hawaii. Alaska is unique because this is the only part of America where we will experience tundra. And it is obviously very, very cold. The largest mountain in the United States is here, Mount McKinley. They have a very short summers, only 2 months out of the year. And we have Hawaii, which is our only island state and has one of the only tropical regions along with South Florida. All right, guys, this was just a very quick summary of geography of the United States, but I hope it helps.